Hello, hello, good afternoon. This afternoon I'm just going to share with you a few ideas about how we can use Google Tools to collect evidence. The exciting title there is New Ofsted, how can we gather evidence of impact? So use this afternoon, if you can hopefully hear at the back, we're going to share just a few ideas of how we can use this in the classroom. Thank you. Okay. With the new framework, one of the main things is that rather than just raising the game for the day, when so for example the inspectors come in, the displays look fantastic, the kids behave themselves, the lessons are all organised, that the new inspectors are trying to look at how are you actually doing that every day, day in, day out, rather than just the one-off when the inspectors come in. So there's a lot of now a need to provide evidence of how are you doing this over a period of time. There's now 4 areas which we're looking at, so it's simply down to achievement, quality of teaching, behaviour and safety, and then actually leadership. But again, all of this, how has it been done over time throughout the whole year? So with achievement, basically you've got to identify different groups and how you're working with those groups. And Google Tools is very useful. They've got a number of different tools we can use to implement this. With using the spreadsheets, that not only can you sort of record scores and you can put the different people results in there, but one of the things is in the past, I might have put in a load of results for a child and then email that to somebody else or put it on the central network for someone else to access. But with the Google spreadsheets, we can collaborate on the same one together. So, for example, I can be adding comments on a pupil's record, and also the teaching assistant in the classroom can be adding to that record as well, and then the head teacher and other people can view this together. So the way you can collaborate using spreadsheets is really fantastic. One of the other things about trying to triangulate all the information we've got in there is actually just using photographs. So photographs will help make it more of a story to explain more what's actually going on in the classroom. So for example, if you are grouping the kids for a particular lesson, how would you group the kids in that lesson? If you're doing a different task, do you let the children organise how they work and who they work with? And photos do help to tell that story. So using Picasso, which is a free photo tool from Google, you can actually put together collections of photos, but again, you can share them with people in the school. So you can share these photos with other members of staff. They can add to this collection. They can download those photos too. And also then Google Docs, a bit like you're familiar with using word processing tools, so things like Word. Well, Google Docs has the ability to do simple word processing like this. And again, you can share that and collaborate on that. So for example, a child's individual action plan can be shared with all the members of staff. So that if they're in a lesson, another teacher can access to see what their particular needs are. They can also add then comments to it. So if they did something in particular fantastic which contributes to their plan, you can add that to the same document as ways of sharing that together. So then with the actual quality of teaching, the students can actually create stuff in Google Docs and then the teachers can pass comment on those too. So for example, if I wrote the start of a story, I could do the story start. The teacher could then add some comments and then I could modify my story as we go along. You could also have groups of pupils working together. So where they're working on an inquiry task, you could have one group all working on the same document, and again, we can share those easily in the classroom. So again, in the past where we'd have to maybe move files around or save them in particular areas, Google Docs makes that really fantastic way of sharing and collaborating. Also using scanners to scan in comments, we can put in pupil work, and then we can also then add comments to that using either Google Docs or Google Draw. So one of the tools I've been using a lot recently is this handheld scanner. So again, you might be familiar in the past, scanners where you take an exercise book, you have to go off to the scanner, put it on the scanner and scan it. And it tends to not always work. They tend to be quite dusty in the corner of a classroom somewhere. Well, this is a bit like a digital camera. So you can take it anywhere, you can take it out, you can scan things. So I shall attempt to do this live and hopefully it'll all work. I do have a gift for technology of breaking it though, so we'll see how we go. So if I switch on the scanner, so again, very much similar to a digital camera, switch on. I'll find something to scan, so it could be that this student's done something fantastic that morning I want to capture. And I roll it across the document. I'm not being too accurate, I'm just scanning it across and press stop. And then I can either tape out the memory card and put that into the computer, or connect up via a cable. Okay, so we'll put that in there. So the example you got on the screen there is actually a child's piece of writing. So then I could also annotate that, they could annotate it, and we could share that with the class. So I've plugged in the scanner there, hopefully it'll pick it up. Come to the bottom there, so there's the photos I've taken. There's the tool there, and I'll import that picture so you can have a look at it. And it's one of the things is it's just portable, so again, it doesn't need to interrupt the children when they're working. I can quickly scan something and then show it up on the screen if I wanted. So that's the document I just scanned there, and you can see it's just quick enough to scan across there. So I could put this now into Google Draw or Google Docs. I could add text boxes across it for them to have a look at. So that's just a handheld scanner. If you're interested in this one, it's called ION Copycat, ION Copycat. But again, it's a way of actually adding documents to Google Docs that you can add to and you can share. One of the other things is to make neat portfolios. Google Tools, it's something called Sites, and Sites allows you to make a website. It's very easy to put together sort of images and text together, and you could use this for the pupils making their own portfolios and how they can share their stuff together. And also reflective journals. So teacher may do an evaluation of a lesson at the end, and with blogs and journals, quite often people worry they're going to have to write something like, epic and monumental that they're going to share. Well, quite often actually just writing for yourself, not sharing it with anyone is useful. But it could be that this is how the teachers do reflection on their lessons, or even the pupils do reflection on their lessons using the blogging tools. And one more idea of actually thinking about the behaviour around school, so whether it's behaviour or bullying, is to use maps. So for example, you can take a picture from Google Maps of your school, and then the children could put that into Google Draw, and they could add some comments again. So it could be, I feel particularly safe in this part of the school. Or actually, I think this is an area where I feel threatened because I have to walk past all the older children. I'd like a way of getting into school which isn't bringing us past the older children. So it's a way of actually providing for Ofsted. Here is the layout of the school. This is where we have looked at the survey, how the children feel about where they do things. It could be that in this particular area of school, it's where I really feel I'm learning a lot. So it might be that of a reflection on which subject it is, how they enjoy it, and things like that. So again, the idea of being able to collaborate, you could put that map out there for all the children in the school to add some comments to. And then using forms. So ways of getting feedback, you may be familiar with things like SurveyMonkey and other questionnaire tools. Well, Google Forms allows us to make questionnaires and share those, again, with the pupils. So I'll try and demo that at the end of this to show you what it looks like. And finally, for the fourth category, the leadership and management, with the lesson observation, you can do some feedback. So, for example, in that, the person's just an observation, put it straight into Google Docs, and then the teacher can see it straight away, and they can feedback on that. If it's a staff meeting, the notes are put up there. You don't need to put them up there and email them to everyone. Everyone can access the staff meeting notes straight afterwards. The Google Calendar is a very, very powerful tool in terms of how you can get to organise members of staff, organise meetings, share appointments, and work your school really well. And it's sometimes overlooked. So the actual calendar is a very powerful tool. And finally, the last idea is using Google Docs. So if you have parents who English is not their first language, you could use Google Translate to translate that letter home into their language as well, so they can have a look at it too. So what I'll do is I'll demo Google Forms at the end of this. But just to mention, I work for Vital, which is the Open University working in schools. And the web address is at the top there. And what we've been doing is teacher, so short presentations, a bit like today, where we'd say, this is using Google Forms, and we'd spend 15 minutes how they can be used in the classroom and actually demo how they might be used. And then people can come along. So these are online webinars that we're running, so you're welcome to come along to those for free, and check out also what we're doing at Vital. So we're working in schools, supporting teachers with CPD. So what I'll do is I'll try and show you Google Forms before we go any further. So in my documents, I want to start a new form. I go create form. And there it is. It's just like a normal questionnaire. So it could be, this could be a reading survey across the students. So reading survey. It could be a questionnaire to parents sent home. What is your feelings about the school? Get parental views. I can put in a question and in there, and then I can decide what type of question I'd like. So for example, it might just be simple text response. It might be a drop-down list. So for example, if I choose from a list, pick one from this list, and they put a number of options there. So this is a free tool. Once I've created the form, email it out to all the parents, or put it on the website for the parents to click on the link, and then you can get that feedback. So either it's used by the students, or can be used by, for getting parental feedback. Okay. So just to conclude then, we've got lots of tools available to us. Sorry, just one moment. Google Chrome quit unexpectedly, no worries. I told you I had a gift for technology, so basically, in summary, there's with the new Ofsted, we need to be collecting evidence over time, and the Google tools can help us do that. So whether it's using the docs, the forms, the photos, and Picasa, and all these tools will help us collect that evidence over the time. So thank you very much. Thank you.